welcome back to another episode of All Things Ghostly. I am your host, Abbie. Nice to meet you if I haven't met you yet. Today I am very excited because if you watched last week's episode, or even if you didn't, go watch that one first because this is a part 2 of that episode. And we are talking about Dear David, which was a very, very, very viral ghost story that went viral in like 2017, 2018 era. And she was popping, okay? This little Twitter thread, again, go back and watch part 1 if you want to know like the whole backstory and how it started, but it was all based off of a Twitter thread by this guy named Adam Ellis. And he still to this day claims that this is true. So, with that being said, again, go watch part 1 because this is just a continuance. Nothing is gonna make sense if you don't. So go watch it. It's good. I promise. I'm like nail biting here because I remember this happening. But this is a refresher. It is the return of Dear David. Anyway, so we're just going to jump right on in where we left off, which was on the night of September 16th of 2017, where Adam tweets, "On the pillow next to me was a severed head with a bloody spine attached, snaking down the bed. The head was staring right at me, somehow still alive. It had this huge smile plastered on its face." That's a weird way to start off. He says, horrified, I screamed, "What happened to you?" The head smiled even bigger. "It feels great," the head groaned. Ew. Oh, by the way, I just want to tell you guys, if you didn't watch the first part, again, why would you not? But this article will be linked in any description box of whatever you're watching or listening. I definitely recommend watching it on YouTube if you do listen, just because I am putting in clips of the videos and photos, which obviously you're not going to be able to see or hear if you're just listening. So pop on over to YouTube and stay a while. So it says, in the update that Ellis tweeted the evening of September 16th, he talked about a few things. Weird dreams he'd had recently, including one about a severed head and others about dark figures staring in my windows, even though I live on the second floor, as well as another incident that involved the seemingly abandoned warehouse near his apartment. After he had the severed head dream, Ellis went for a walk by a nearby bodega in order to clear his own head a bit. The walk to the bodega took him past the warehouse. In fact, pretty much everywhere he goes, it takes him past the warehouse. And although he hurried past it on the way there, something weird happened on the way home. He tweeted, "When I passed the warehouse a second time, I heard a dull thunk from the other side of the shutters. I froze in place, but there was no other sound after that. I probably should have just continued on, but curiosity got the better of me." Curiosity killed the cat. Have you never heard this, David? Oh wait, that's Adam, not David. Anywho, he saw a window, so he opted to very quickly snap a photo and get the fuck out. Yeah. Probably shouldn't have even done that, but I get it. You want us all to be on the edge of our seats. He tweeted, "There was a grated window next to the doors about a foot above my head, too high to see into. So I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna hold my phone up to the window, take one photo, then run for my life." Dead. He didn't stop to look at the photo until he got home. When he did, this is what he saw. He tweeted, oh gosh, I'm not going to look at the photo yet because I'm scared. It seemed to be a different part of the warehouse, maybe an office. There's a bunch of old insulation and what looked like a filing cabinet and a ripped up leather desk chair. And then he has a photo. What is that thing? Like that fluffy stuff. I see the chair, but what is that fluffy thing? Oh, the old insulation. Duh. You know where this is going, right? Especially after what ended up turning up in some other photos he'd taken. Yep. He tweeted, "Maybe I'm too deep into this and my brain wants to see David when he's not there, but here, I mess with the filters on my phone a bit. Tell me this doesn't look like him." I'm looking at the photo. Where? I mean, I kind of see a head shape there. I don't know that I'm looking at the right thing, though. I feel like with these photos, I always can't ever see it unless somebody's like, it's right here, circled in red. And I'm like, oh, right. So currently I can't really see it. But again, let me know if y'all can. He thought he saw David lurking by the door. So by the door. I don't know. I still don't know if I can see it. And hey, remember when Ellis's Twitter followers started tinkering with those Polaroids he took of his apartment and found all sorts of unsettling things in them? The same thing happened here, only a lot more so. Here's what they found. So this was a reply to that tweet of the photo of the window, or what was inside the window. And this person says, "But am I the only one that sees eyes?" And then a little circle photo. See, this is the red circles that I need to see. And then somebody says, okay, I don't know if I was looking too deep into it myself. And then somebody replies to that saying, I saw a tiny face by the chair and there's a black circle there. But again, I cannot see that at all. Like at all. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just bad at these things. Somebody else replied, whoa, why does the insulation low-key look like organs in this one? So somebody replied and said, so edited the picture, brought everything to 100 except brightness and contrast. There's really a dent head figure. Where? Am I like crazy? Tell me the insulation does not look like intestines. It looks gross. Okay, I'm gonna pause and try to really look for this because I cannot see it. Okay, I looked. I can't see it, so maybe I'm just crazy. It says, is it possible that all of this could be chalked up to pareidolia, which we discussed in the first one, is like where your brain tricks you into seeing or hearing things, and or photoshopping? Absolutely. Does that stop it from being eerie AF? Not one bit. Well, again, I can't even see it, so I feel like the odd one out here, and I'm not liking it. Adam tweets, the past few days have been fairly quiet. I haven't been spending much time at home. I leave for Japan in a couple hours. I've been trying to avoid anything weird before my trip. I still feel like this all might stop if I just leave for a couple weeks. Whatever happens, I want to thank everyone for their kind thoughts and concerns. This whole ordeal has been stressful and it means a lot. It makes me feel like I'm not going through this alone. See you in a couple weeks. Not much happened over the next few weeks. After Ellis left for his trip, he mostly stayed off Twitter. He did post this cute and somewhat tongue-in-cheek photo from a shrine he visited while he was away. He tweeted, I brought a votive tablet, I don't know what that is, at the shrine I'm at in Japan. And he posts a picture of this little sign that says, please protect my cats while I'm away from home. Oh, he probably wrote that. Duh. But on his last full day in the country, he stumbled across something unnerving. Oh my gosh, in Japan too? My goodness, is David in Japan with him? At first, it looked like a statue, but when he looked closer at one portion of it, he tweets, I was taking pictures of it from different angles since it's cylindrical. I moved around to one side and almost dropped my phone at what I saw. It felt too similar to be a coincidence. I felt dizzy staring up at it, the kid with a dented head. I see it. See, this one I can see very easily. That kid in the middle there, that definitely is a dented head. Wait, is it? No, it is. Because I see the woman's like shoulder behind the head, but if you look, you can see that the head also goes in that like formation. That definitely is creepy. Ellis found a dead ringer for David. The statue is called Mori no Uta, or Song of the Forest, located in Nakajima Park in Sapporo. I don't know, I'm bad at pronouncing names. It's a work by Japanese artist Takio Yamauchi. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, which most likely I am. I suspect its resemblance to David is a coincidence, but the fact that it looks so much like Ellis's original drawing of David is pretty spooky. And that's what I was about to say. Obviously, all like handmade items have flaws, so it very much so is possible that it's just one of those things, but definitely still creepy how it like ties back to David. Adam tweets, weird things have been happening with the electricity in my apartment this week. Thread. So again, a different thread. I keep saying, sorry. First, 2 bulbs have burned out in the hallway in less than a week. At this point, I've just left it alone rather than get a ladder again. It's at about this point that Ellis's updates began to slow down a bit. He started posting about once every week and a half to 2 weeks instead of every few days. Each one is fairly elaborate though, so when there's an update, it's an update. In the middle of October, he told us about some issues he'd been having with the electricity in his apartment. Light bulbs burning out with a shocking degree of frequency, an LED backlight strip that plugged into his TV turning off and on of its own volition before dying entirely, etc. He tweeted, I noticed it just sometime before dawn when I woke up and went into the kitchen to get some water. I'd barely gotten back into bed when I saw a faint light come on in the living room. After a few seconds, it went dark again. After the backlight incident, which happened in the wee hours of the morning, Ellis couldn't get back to sleep, so he went to a 24-hour diner near his apartment, had some eggs, and then went home to shower and get ready for the day before heading into work early. While he was completing his morning ablutions, I don't know that word. Sorry about it. He said he started hearing some weird scratching noises outside his front door. After everything that happened so far, he couldn't bring himself to actually look through the peephole, so instead he just held his phone up to it and snapped a picture. Here's what he saw when he looked at the photo. I'm afraid to look at these pictures. He tweeted, at first the pictures didn't seem like anything, just blurry nothingness. But as I analyzed it and started noticing things, part of a face, an ear, and an eye staring right back at me. Okay, I gotta mentally prepare to see this photo because I'm scared. Ooh, okay. I don't see it. That's such an anticlimactic ending. I don't see it. I see the peephole, and I kind of see what looks like an ear. Guys, I suck at this. Do you see it? No, try this. Okay. Show me what I need to see. Okay, so somebody replied to it saying, I see it, but the features don't quite seem human. To me, it looks a lot like the kid in the statue you saw from a higher angle, and then a video. What? I don't know. Again, I see the ear, but I really don't see a head like that. I might see a little bit of a nose. I don't know. That first peephole picture was very convincing after I saw the side-by-side. But this one, I don't know. I'm just bad at seeing things, I guess, in photos. Looks like going away for a few weeks didn't dissuade David after all. I think maybe it's time to get someone else involved. It's obvious this isn't going to stop until I do something, Ellis concluded. I'm just not sure what that is yet. I'll let you all know when I figure it out. Then he tweets, so instead I had a friend come over and cleanse the place, and for about a week or so it seemed like it worked. Things appeared to go back to normal. The cats weren't gathering at the door anymore. I stopped having dreams. After his last update, Ellis had a friend perform a cleansing ritual at his apartment, which seemed to somewhat help, according to the tweets above. Things got weird again fairly quickly, however. First, remember the warehouse? The one near Ellis's apartment that keeps popping up time and time again? Well, on his way to work one day, he said that he saw it open again, and this time there was something in it. A hearse? What did you say? Just, parked all casual like in a space that was once devoted to fixing food carts. Adam tweeted, this time, all the metal doors were wide open, sunlight pouring in. The warehouse was still mostly empty, except for one thing. There was a hearse parked near the back wall. And then he shows the picture of the hearse. And there she is. So for what it's worth, I played around with the photo a bit, and I didn't see anything weird in it. No faces or other odd figures, and it doesn't seem like anyone else on Twitter did either, so it might just have been a coincidence. It was Halloween season after all. Maybe it was a prop being stored for a haunted house or something like that. But the next part of the update doesn't seem at all like a coincidence. Ellis wrote that on the evening of October 25th, he was heading into the kitchen to grab a beer from the fridge when he spotted something frightening out the window. A person standing on the roof opposite to his apartment, staring at him. Ellis dropped to the ground, grabbed his phone, and took a photo through the window. He tweeted, I immediately ducked down. I reached up and flicked off the light switch. I peered over the windowsill, but couldn't see much. My phone was in my pocket, so I grabbed it and took a photo. It was blurry and dark, but I swear someone was out there. And then he has the photo. Oh, okay, I see that one. I see glowing eyes. But the figure of it almost looks like not human to me. I'm scared. Anyway, here's the brightened up version of that photo. So somebody replied with it and said, okay, so this is not okay with the brightened photo. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm having a heart attack. I'm having heart palpitations. I can't do this. Okay, guys. Okay, hold on. I'll try to catch you up as soon as I catch my breath. Okay, hold on. Whoo. That winded me. Okay, I was not looking in the right area, as we have discussed. I am not good at this. My mind is blown. Like, my eyes are watering right now. Okay. Calm down, Abbie. It's fine. You're fine. Okay, so basically, I was not looking at the right thing. I was looking at the thing on the top. Like, there's like 4 little sections of windowsills. I'll try to like circle what I was looking at in red here so you guys can see. I thought that's what they were talking about. Not this creepy ass little boy at the bottom of the window. Now, the only thing I will say is I don't see a chunk taken out of his head at all. But oh my gosh, the way that scared the living daylights out of me, that's not okay. That is unforgivable. Anywho, alas though, that's the only photo Ellis managed to get. When he tried to take another, he found that the figure had vanished. Good, because I don't ever want to see that again. He tweeted, "I tried to take a better photo, but the figure had disappeared," and then he shows the photo of it no longer there. But that, it turned out, was just a prelude to the next set of photos. Adam tweets, "In the dream, I saw him in a chair again. I don't have the green chair in my room anymore. This time, it was a recliner I've had for years. He was staring right at me, just like the first time. Again, I felt paralyzed and could barely move, but this time something was different." The next update came on November 6th. In it, Ellis wrote that he'd had a dream the previous night, November 5th, for those keeping track, a dream quite similar to the very first one about David he had way back when. As in that previous dream, in this one, Ellis was lying in bed while David appeared on a chair nearby. This time, though, Ellis wasn't quite as paralyzed as he had been the first time around. This time, he could move his hands a bit, so when David began to approach, Ellis grabbed his phone, in the dream that is, and started to take some pictures. He woke up right as David reached his bed and began to crawl up it. Try convincing me that I'm not going to have nightmares tonight, because I think I am. I'm scared shitless right now. And I never get scared about paranormal things that much anymore, but I'm like, my vision is hazy because of how afraid I am. Being able to move in the dream wasn't the only thing that was different this time, though. When Ellis looked at the camera roll on his phone, he saw dozens of photos that had been taken in the dark the night before. Apparently, he wasn't just taking pictures in the dream, but also in real life. These 3 images were of particular note. I swear if y'all show me David again, I'm gonna be scared. Oh my God. This is the iconic photo of David that I see everywhere that scares the literal crap out of me, even more so now that I've refreshed myself on all the details of this story. I will never be the same. Adam tweets, "It's better to just show you. Turn up your brightness because they're pretty dark." I'm gonna vomit. Guys. This is not okay. He shows the picture. I'm just gonna scroll past it. Oh my God. I'm literally gonna cry. This is not me over exaggerating at all. So he tweets the pictures. I can't look at these anymore. I'm gonna freaking cry. And I literally have to put them into this to edit it. Okay. Bitch. I can't. He gets up. David gets up and is walking toward him. My toes are literally curled like this right now. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna like scroll, but I gotta look at him because I'm gonna have to edit it anyway. And then Adam tweets another photo that says, "This is the one that made my heart drop. And if the other 2 hasn't already, I'm scared to look at this." Oh my God. Yeah, I'm gonna have a difficult time sleeping tonight. So basically it was just David closer, as you saw. I'm gonna need to have like some backup here and recruit somebody to just like put these photos in for me because I'm afraid to look at them again. And then it says, "Guess what happens when you brighten these suckers up?" I don't want to keep looking at them. You know what? It's fine. David is not going to hurt me. I'm manifesting David to stay away from me. He is not my mojo. He is all on Adam, and this was a long time ago. It is okay. You can look at these photos. Not my little, like, literally, what is that called? Mid-episode pep talk. I'm struggling right now. If you guys cannot tell, I'm like extra fidgety. I can't talk. My vision is blurry. Okay, let's look at the brightened up versions. Oh my God, his little striped shirt. Not me having a panic attack. And him moving. And then the up close one. Okay, glad we got through that. Well, hi there, David. No, don't say hi to him. That's what the article said, not me. I don't say hi to David. David is my enemy and he scares me, okay? Since these photos are obviously not the result of the pareidolia, I hope I'm saying that right. At this point, it became crystal clear that there were only 2 options for what was going on. Either Ellis was spinning one hell of a yarn, complete with manufactured photos, or he was actually being haunted by an angry child ghost. It was up to readers to decide which explanation they believed. Adam tweets, "For everyone asking, yes, I'm alive. I've been on the quiet side because there's something I'm trying to investigate and I'm not sure how to yet. I'd rather not tweet unless I have something substantial to share." For anyone who was concerned after the last update that David had finally gotten Ellis, however, we received good news on November 16th. The ghost had not won just yet. What's more, Ellis made a discovery about his apartment building that might just be a game changer. Ellis had previously established that his apartment building was actually a house that had been converted into something kind of like a duplex. When he first encountered David, he was living in the first floor unit. By the time everything really started to ramp up, he'd moved on to the second floor unit. He believed that the building looked something like this. He tweeted, "It's also sort of hard to explain the logistics of what I'm trying to find out, but I'll do my best. Basically, there's a part of my apartment I'm just now learning about. At least that's what I think. To refresh your memory, I live in a duplex. I used to live on the first floor, but now I live on the second floor. It's a long, boxy building that looks like this," and then he inserts a picture. Roof that I don't have access to, my apartment, my old apartment, business next door, roof where I think I saw David. Okay, makes sense so far. But while he was tweeting the previous update, he said that he had started hearing some loud thudding noises coming from above his apartment, which meant that his previous understanding of the building was incorrect. There was, he noted, no way to access the roof, nor was the sound the banging of old pipes. It was distinctly the sound of something falling to the floor, he wrote. "My building is old and makes lots of noises, but this was a new sound and it startled me." And hey, guess what he found when he went out into the hallway outside his apartment to investigate? He tweets, "So I'm thinking, is there some secret crawl space in my home? I look all over my apartment, but I can't figure it out. So I go into the hallway, and that's when something dawns on me. There's no real way to ease into this, so I'll just say it. There's a mysterious hatch in my hallway. I've always known about it, but I just assumed it opened directly to the roof." And then he shows the picture of the little hatch. Yep, a hatch, a creepy hatch in the ceiling. It appeared to be pretty high up there too. So Adam tweets again, "It's really high above the stairs, so I always figured it was impossible to access without some sort of fancy professional ladder. I took this video so you can see how high it is," and then he shows this video. Oh yeah, okay. That is very high up there. What's more, its dimensions raise some questions about the building. He tweeted, "I see that hatch every morning when I leave for work and think nothing of it, but this time something dawned on me. It can't lead to the roof because it's exactly below the roof. I'm about to spring some simple math on you, so I apologize in advance." So let's keep up, guys. We got this. First, the skylight is flat with the roof. I checked on Google Earth to make sure. The hatch is about 3 feet below the skylight, meaning there's only about 3 feet of empty space between the two openings. And then he shows a picture of the little hatch and then 3 feet of empty space I can't account for. Okay, it's making sense. It seemed probable that hatch led to a crawl space directly above Ellis's apartment, which in turn meant that the layout of the building actually looked like this. So he tweets, "I think maybe the hatch leads to a short ladder going to the roof. But even if that's the case, the hatch is level with all the ceilings in my apartment. That means there's 3 feet of empty space all over my apartment." And then he shows the little diagram of that empty space. What was in that 3 feet of space? Was it a crawl space directly above Ellis's apartment? He wasn't sure, but he ordered a telescoping pole on Amazon so he could poke at the hatch from the stairs and check it out a bit later. And by later, I mean after Thanksgiving. He tweets, "A lot has happened in the last week, but I was away for Thanksgiving, so I'm just now able to write it all down. The noises from the ceiling haven't let up, but the pole I ordered didn't arrive before I had to leave for the holiday, so I didn't actually get it until late Friday night. I planned to investigate the next morning and went to bed. The pole, of course, didn't arrive until after Ellis had left town for the holiday, so he didn't get the package until he came home the evening of Friday, November 24th. Originally, he intended to examine the hatch on Saturday morning, but on Friday night, he said he experienced some really terrifying sounds coming from above his apartment. He tweets, I'd barely fallen asleep when I woke up to an incredibly loud crash above me. It sounded like someone had dropped a bowling ball. I bolted upright in bed and immediately felt strange. There was a weird energy all around me. I can't explain it. After about a minute, I heard another crash. I briefly thought about grabbing my shoes and booking it, but that would mean passing under the hatch, and that seemed like a bad idea. So instead, I just listened and waited, though I'm not sure for what. The crash happened again, and then again, probably 15 times in a row, followed by a long silence. Then I hear a smaller creaky sound from the hallway. In my mind, I registered it as a footstep, but it really could have been anything. I stayed still, but there were no more sounds after that. I lay back down, still tense and nervous, but I must have fallen asleep at some point because I woke up the next morning and everything seemed normal again. I dressed and left to go get a bagel, same as every Saturday. What's more, when he was leaving to go get that bagel he had been planning to get, he noticed some debris on the stairs right below the hatch. This prompted him to forget about the bagel, run back into his apartment, and get the telescoping pole. He took a video of what happened when he used the pole to nudge the hatch open. He tweeted, at that point, bagels were the last thing on my mind. I went back upstairs and grabbed the pole. I set my camera on the coat wardrobe at the top of the stairs and hit record just to make sure it would be caught on video if a demon bursts out of the hatch. Here's the video. I'm nervous. Oh, here he goes. I'm scared. What the fuck? What was that? It looked like a rat or something. Okay. This is what fell out. He tweeted, I went upstairs to get my phone and collapsed the pole since it's so long and unwieldy. Then went back downstairs to investigate the object that fell. At first, I wasn't even sure what it was. It was a dinghy, faded black. I picked it up and realized what it was. It was a small leather shoe. I swear that looked like a squirrel or something in the video. And then obviously he puts the picture of the shoe. This is a small child's shoe and it's creepy AF. So suitably freaked out, Ellis did what I would argue he should have done the moment he discovered the hatch. He called his landlord. The landlord brought a ladder, used it to open the hatch, look around and found nothing. Or at least it seemed like nothing at first. Spoiler, there definitely was something up there. A few hours later, my landlord was on a ladder, shining a flashlight into the crawl space. I stared up at him, half expecting something to grab him and yank him into the darkness. He angled his flashlight all around and finally sang, "There's nothing up here." But then he was like, oh wait. I watched as he reached up into the emptiness with his free arm, and when he pulled it back, he had something small and round on his hand. He climbed down the ladder and handed it to me. The thing he handed Ellis turned out to be an antique marble, a green one. There's that motif again. Green like the rocking chair, green like the chair in the warehouse, green like the jar, and green like the turtle shell and the cactus. That is very true. I noticed about like the chairs and stuff, but not all that. He tweeted again, I wasn't quite sure what I was looking at. It was smooth and shiny, and at first I thought it was an old piece of candy, but it was cold and too heavy to be candy. After a second, I realized it was a marble. It was so worn that it hadn't registered as a marble at first. Its shape was also sort of weird with a little bump on one end, and then he inserts a couple photos of it. I looked into the marble in more detail over here. Click through to see the fruits of my labor. But the basic gist is this. Back when glass marbles were made by hand rather than by machine, big ol' scissors were used to cut them off of long strips of molten glass. The little bump on the top of the marble, which marks where the marble was cut, is called a pontil. A pontil? A pontil. I don't know. We can probably date the marble Ellis's landlord found to around the turn of the century. Ellis needed the thread by saying that he was keeping the marble and the shoe was on his dresser. I, for one, believe that to be a bad move, but I mean, you do you, Adam. Following the hatch incident, a few of Ellis's followers theorized that they may have identified the real Dear David, an anonymous murder victim from 1921 known as Little Lord Fauntleroy, I'm not sure, who was named for the Francis Hodgson Burnett novel. Due to his very fine clothing, was a boy estimated to be between the ages of 5 and 7 years old, who was found dead in a pond near the O'Laughlin Quarry in Waukesha, Wisconsin, not me not knowing how to pronounce Wisconsin, in 1921. He had died after being struck on the head with a blunt object, a murder which remains unsolved to this very day. The Twitter users who made the connection between Fauntleroy, again, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, and David cited a few similarities as evidence. One, Fauntleroy was wearing leather shoes and Ellis had just found a small leather shoe in his apartment. And two, a theory about Fauntleroy posited that he may have been kidnapped from a wealthy family, and there were a lot of wealthy families in New York at the time. Personally, I don't think the evidence is strong enough to suggest that David is Fauntleroy for reasons I laid out here. Click through, which I'm not going to do. It's still an interesting theory, though, so check it out if you feel so inclined. For what it's worth, Ellis hasn't commented on it either way. So Adam tweets, sorry for the long break. I haven't been feeling great the past couple weeks and haven't had time to update. There also wasn't much to say for the most part. I wasn't sleeping well and I was having weird dreams, but they were vague and hard to describe. I'm sleepy all day long and I've been getting sudden bouts of dizziness. Ellis didn't post another update for 2 weeks, largely because he said he didn't have anything of note to report. He wasn't sleeping well, and he generally didn't feel great, but nothing major had occurred until December 6th. That night, Ellis wrote, he woke up with a start and felt something strange, like something had just been watching me. There was no one there when he turned on the light, of course, but he said he was experiencing the tangible feeling of badness he's learned to associate with David. After a couple of nights of this, waking up suddenly feeling like he was being watched, Ellis downloaded an app on his phone that made it take photos automatically every 60 seconds and set it up on his bookcase. He left both it and a light on while he slept, and in the morning he claimed he found some really disturbing pictures on his camera roll. Not more pictures, oh my goodness. Most of the pictures were just of him sleeping in the empty room, but right toward the end, his phone snapped the following images. Adam tweets, the vast majority of them were me sleeping in an empty room. It's sort of dark, but you can see me sleeping. I'd left a couple of night lights on just in case anything showed up, but for the first 100 photos or so, it was just me in an empty room. And then he shows the empty room. Okay, that is unbelievable. He then shows a photo of David in the chair. That is unbelievable. And then it shows a brightened version. It looks like a doll or something. He tweets, then suddenly he was there, standing on the chair at the foot of the bed, staring at me. And the next photo from a minute later, he seems to be staring straight up at the ceiling, just staring. And then another photo. Weird. Then he appears to collapse on the chair. The next dozen photos are the same. He's completely lifeless. At first, I thought he was dead, which obviously doesn't make any sense. I looked over at the chair, half expecting him to still be there, but it was empty. And then he shows the photo of him collapsed. And then it brightened as well. He tweets, but then in the next photo, he's gone. The room totally empty again. He's gone in the next several photos, too. I figured maybe that was it, but I kept swiping through the photos. About 15 photos later, he was back, standing next to the bed. It was just like the last time I saw him. And again, the picture. Wow. Craziness. And then the photo brightened, of course. He then says, that's when my heart started to race. I didn't want to look at the rest of the photos, but I knew I had to. I swiped to the next photo and my heart sank into my stomach. He was on the bed, inches from me, staring down at me sleeping. Oh God, that photo was fucked. That photo was fucked. And then it brightened. The next one was worse. In the next photo, he's staring right at the camera. And again, they show it plain and brightened. After that, there's seemingly nothing. He disappears again, and the rest of the scroll is just me alone in my room again. That is until the last photo. Here's the final photo on the scroll. Oh, fuck no. Guys, this is getting too real. So obviously, that's like his little hair and shit. Don't like that. What's more, one Twitter follower strung the photos together into a GIF and discovered that David may have moved the camera in the last shot. And then that person replied saying, has anyone done this yet? David moved the camera. So here's the little GIF. Ugh. Yeah, it did move a little bit, I guess. Ellis left it on this note. I am at a loss for words. That malformed ear, the stringy hair, I didn't even know what to think. I looked all over my room but couldn't find anything. And honestly, I've been so exhausted I didn't know how to process it. Even now, all I want to do is just go to sleep. And he left town for the holidays on December 20th. He tweets, "Hey everyone, I'll be gone for the next week visiting my family, back home in Montana for the holidays. It'll be nice to get away from all of this for a bit. Thanks for everyone's kind words lately. I'll see you when I get back." As his next update suggests, the holidays were not as relaxing as he may have been hoping they'd be. He tweets, "I even started browsing listings for new apartments back in New York. The last thing I want to do is move in the middle of winter, but after the past few months it seemed like it might be worth it. It felt like there may be a way out. But after a few days I started to feel strange again. One night I got up to go to the bathroom, and as I stood there in the dark, I couldn't help feeling like there was something moving outside the bathroom window." I'll cut right to the chase. David actually followed Ellis home to Montana, where he went to spend Christmas with his family. Not cool, David. That reminds me of Schitt's Creek. Not cool, David. You don't just crash someone's holiday. True. Although Ellis noted that he actually felt better, less tired, less foggy for the first couple of days in Montana, he quickly started to feel off again, which soon led to him feeling like there was something lurking outside the bathroom window every night. The first time he got that feeling, he discovered animal tracks outside the next day. He tweets, "But after a few days, I started to feel strange again. One night, I got up to go to the bathroom, and as I stood there in the dark, I couldn't help feel like there was something moving outside the bathroom window. The bathroom looks out into the backyard, and it was pitch black. I could barely see anything, but it's Montana, and there are animals passing through all the time. Sure enough, in the morning, I found animal tracks through the snow. I don't know the specific animal, deer, elk," and then he shows the picture of the tracks. But the second time he discovered human tracks. He tweets, "In the morning, as I was getting out of the shower, I glanced out the window and noticed tracks behind the garage." And then he posts the little picture. "I couldn't tell what they were from the bathroom, so I got dressed, put on my coat, and went outside. When I got up close, my heart practically stops. They weren't tracks, they were footprints, really small footprints." And then he posts the close-up, which definitely looks like a child's foot. Tiny ones, child-sized ones, David-sized ones. It appears that Ellis's apartment isn't haunted, rather Ellis himself is. He tweets, "For the past few nights, I've been using that app that takes photos every couple minutes, but nothing has shown up. For whatever reason, it doesn't seem to work anymore, but I've left it running just in case. It's picked up absolutely nothing, save for one thing from last night. Last night was particularly bad. I felt sick and had nightmares all night. I dreamed that David was hovering in the corner by the ceiling far off the ground. He was mouthing something, but I couldn't hear any words." In the same update, Ellis also detailed what happened to him over New Year's. He returned to New York the day after Christmas, still feeling watched, still waking up right before something happens, although he'd started using the app from the December 12th update again. The pictures never showed anything out of the ordinary. Personally, that's led me to wonder whether David has figured out how to avoid the camera. On January 1st, Ellis dreamed about David again, a dream that ended with this horrifying moment. He tweets, "Then he was hovering above my bed staring down at me, his mouth moving faster than it should be. I couldn't move. I could only look up at him. Suddenly, he plummeted downward and I felt this huge pressure crash into my chest. I woke up gasping, the wind completely knocked out of me. I sat up and looked around frantically, heaving for air, but there was nothing." And hey, guess what Ellis saw when he grabbed his phone and looked at the camera roll? Adam tweets, "When I caught my breath, oh my gosh, that photo was creepy. I retrieved my phone from the dresser. The photo roll showed nothing of note, save for the last photo, taken just a moment before, and then it literally shows David falling on top of him. And then the photo brightened as well. Yep, the picture showed David plummeting from the ceiling right on top of Ellis, just like the dream, which may have not been a dream after all, he had just had." Okay guys, I am so sorry to have to do this to you, but I am gonna have to do a part 3. So I guess what I'll do, I'll go ahead and record it exactly after this, but I'm just running out of a little bit of time here. But it's gonna be up the next week. I'm so sorry to have to do this to you. But come back for part 3. There's just a lot more to this than I thought there would be, and there's still a bunch left, so I definitely don't want to leave anything out. But yes, come back for part 3 and wrap this up for me. I promise it'll be the last part. So yeah, comment down below what you guys think of this episode. Everything that has happened in it is just absolutely crazy. This has definitely been the most like shocking episode thus far, and I can't wait to finish it out. So yeah, like I said, comment what you guys think thus far, and I will see you guys in that part 3 next Wednesday. I'm sorry to keep it like so long, but again, I want to make sure that you guys don't go like a full week without an episode or something, so I do just want to upload on my normal Wednesdays. But again, I know this is anticipating enough to come back for. Come on, do it for me. Anyway, I will see you guys in that 3rd episode, and I hope you have a great rest of your night or day or wherever you are, and I will see you then. Bye, guys.